super excited to share with you guys the amazing thing that we've done with Educate. What I would ask you, like as an administrator, before I even speak to you, I'd like you to just like think for a moment about where you are in your school. Think about the technology, think about, you know, teacher practice. Like today, where are you in your school? If you just take like 5 seconds to just think, what's the first thing that pops in your head? Is it a growth? Is it a glow? What is it? I'm going to tell you that whatever popped in your head, this team is going to be able to help you differentiate how to get to it, especially as it relates to technology and maximizing them as pedagogical tools. So I'm super excited to share what we've done. I was an educator for 17 years in the middle school, and then I came to a high school. Shout out to MSA and Dr. Lucene and AP Leathers, because I actually, you know, good people know good people, right? So I was like, I really need to move my school technologically. We're a math and science school, and I need us to be true to the name. I need people to want to come here. And she was like, oh, we have a great coach. His name is Kyle. And I was like, what? I need Kyle in my building. And so when I met with the company, they told me about some guy named Corey. And I was like, I don't want Corey, I want Kyle, because Kyle, you said he's good. And what I realized when I got Corey was that they're all good, right? And that they just, what they do is they really differentiate for each school. So when Corey came to our school, we did a needs assessment. Where are you? What are you good at? What do you need? We needed computers, we needed technological tools, but we needed more. So the first thing we did was we prioritized what I call Googlifying our school. And at the time, that was 3 years ago. So at the time, we made sure that everyone had a mass HSID that came from Google. We made sure that everyone had Chromebooks, and for security reasons, they only could sign in with their Google ID. And then we went through the G Suite and looked at what tools we would use. One of the things that I think is super powerful is that when Corey came, we streamlined systems and we made sure that everyone was trained in like one system, right? So that was G Suite, Googlifying. Then we moved on to Nearpod, and different teachers, one teacher came up with it and we were like, okay. And then we trained everyone. And then we realized that just like in a classroom, right? If you have advanced students, the advanced students are bored if you give everybody the same thing. And the students who are not like, you know, not as good or not as exposed, they feel like you're going too fast. And the beautiful thing about the coaching is that it really differentiated for the learner. So we, for example, knew that the arts team needed some training in iMovie. We used Nearpod for almost all our content areas, but especially our advisory that we have 2 times a week, and how we can enhance that and do things so kids could get up, engage. And that was before the pandemic. And then we strategized again once the pandemic happened, how to, you know, navigate that differently. We learned that Edpuzzle was great for social studies and Jamboard was good for math, because math teachers get super frustrated using sometimes virtual tools because they want to stick to that, you know, pen and paper, right? So it was really powerful in terms of us sort of identifying what we needed to do, which Educate was great at, and then differentiating. So what they have is, you know, you have sometimes we had overall PDs, sometimes we had individualized PDs. Sometimes somebody could call them up and say, I'm really struggling with this. Can you please help me? Is there time in your Calendly, please? And they would make it happen for us. And so I think it speaks to the power of them as educators, right? Because if you don't understand how important differentiation is for the teacher learner, then you won't be able to navigate that well and make it happen for a school. So I just want to share that with you. And then after we Googlified, then we got Kyle. And then we were like, Kyle just helped us take it to another level. So after we had systems in place, after we differentiated for teachers, after we moved teachers who were like, I don't know about this thing, and teachers who were like, this is child's play, I need something more complicated. We were able to get where we were and move on and really move pedagogy and pedagogical practice, which, and we look for tools that worked. And really inquiry based. So we had inquiry teams, but we want to take it to a new level. And so that's something we did. And I'm skipping a little ahead, so you could go to the next slide, Kyle. The other thing that we learned from Educate is that we created a teacher toolkit. we wanted teachers to be able to go to one place on our website. That we enhanced our website because of them and really use it as a communicative tool. And we put everything in one space so teachers could think about, for example, I have L's. It's really hard for L's before the pandemic and especially now. So what tools can I use? Snap and Read is an awesome tool for that. We talked about things like YouTube. You could take YouTube, you can put the translations on, you can slow down the playback so that it can be slower for an L to hear if they're going to be listening to English, so that that whole second language learner phenomenon that happens can happen better for students. And Snap and Read is a great tool because it does things like convert or simplify language real time on any document. But the point is, we created this toolkit that we really differentiated for the students and for the teachers that made it meaningful, right? Because we never want to be in a space where teachers are like, this again, or okay, I'm going to do it because you said so, or I'm going to pretend like I'm actually doing it, but I don't really feel like it. We wanted to make sure that we engaged them in an authentic place where they could be empowered by the tools that we gave them and run with it to improve their practice. And really working with Educate really helped us do that.
Thank you, Nick. Thanks, PTY. I'm happy to go into a little bit again this year. Like PTY said, COVID is weird. It offers unique opportunities, all right, and a unique opportunity to reinvent, re-engage, push to the next level. And our innovation drivers this year at MAST, right, it included targeted PD, right? We knew that we needed to continue to streamline, build foundations, and address the, not new practices, but address the practices in a new context, right? So we delivered targeted PD around maximizing synchronous and asynchronous learning. We got content teams working together in a collaborative way around how would you design lessons and units to maximize synchronous and asynchronous learning. And then we took that we built that snowball of how can staff collaborate and just launched it to the moon with POP teams. POP team stands for Problem of Practice Teams. It's a practice and a protocol that we've actually used within Educate internally. Essentially inquiry teams, right? Inquiry teams around problems of practice, where we want to learn something new, try lots of different things, come back with data and artifacts and see how it's going. And to Principal Thompson-Young and AP Slinger's credit, they saw the merit of the idea. They saw how it could fit their school so well, and they absolutely ran with it. And since September, they've already accomplished an entire cycle of POP teams.
I'm gonna jump in because the reason we want to show you that is twofold. I don't know if you could tell from the energy, but when we first started, we were like, we're gonna do POP team, guys. They were like, okay. And then it kind of took off because as they started studying and inquiring, and then one person learned about one tool and then the other person gave feedback, they were like, wait, what? Then there was a friendly sort of competition going on between the different groups. So social studies wanted to get, make sure they were on par with ELA, and then they took a couple things, and then it ended up really sort of taking off. It's like that nuance where in the classroom, you're like, oh, they did that? Oh, I want to be able to do that too. And I want to put my own spin on it. So POP teams in cycle 1 during a pandemic took off. And again, that is because of the tools that we were using. It was because of the training that we had. It was because of support that we had that was consistent. And a lot of the things that Dr. Lucent said, so I'm not going to repeat that part, but that wouldn't have been possible if we hadn't sort of started foundation, assessed where we were, and continue to make those adjustments and move on. And actually this morning, and I'm going to share it in the link, but we then took everything that everyone did. They did a reflection on what the process was like, where they started, where they are now, and what they're going to do moving forward in cycle team 2. And I'm going to just share that in link so you guys can have it and look through it. If there's time, we'll be able to show you. But I just think it's so powerful because I didn't know that it was possible to build that kind of enthusiasm and energy for pedagogy and just making sure that we're serving our children with rigorous, meaningful, authentic instruction using these tools, right? Because that's like a lot, but it's possible. And I have to give kudos to Kyle and Corey, who was before us, AP Slinger, who is here, who's part of that planning. And of course, shout out to AP led this, because this wouldn't have been possible if we didn't know about Educate, and hence Dr. Lucent. So I would implore you to really take advantage of this because it's possible. And like I said, we already know what it's like when people are like, inquiry, okay, because you're making me do it. Do I have to? And then there's other people who are like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But this will really help navigate and, you know, help even out those waters and push your staff and your teams to a whole nother level.